lady is real.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 74.
Woo!
Shut the door.
We're almost in a nursing home.
Of the Out of the Basement podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am one of your hosts, Nate Martin. Joining me is Connor. Talk over me, Lindsay. How are you, buddy?
I live in Missoula, but I commute to Savannah.
Oh, he's here.
They are sister cities.
Oh, Mr. Molasses.
Mr. Molasses has joined us. And, of course, last but certainly least, sick burn, bro, Steven Buckrock. How you doing?
I want to do a Guyver 2 related quote, but fuck it.
There's just,
I don't know.
There's so many things in the Guyver 2, like not so much quotes, but more like facial expressions that really make the movie great. But we'll get into that in just a moment. Connor, did you watch anything good this week?
I did, but I'm blanking on it currently. So could you come back?
Did you finish up Black Mirror?
I've got one episode left, and I don't want to. I don't want to be done with it. I'm not ready to let go.
You said you've been watching The Walking Dead.
Oh, I have, but I'm.
How's the current season? Real shitty?
The current season is how best to describe it. What's funny to me about the current season is that Rick Grimes has more or less. You feel as if he's just he's spliced in to episodes here and there, for no other reason. Like he's supposed to be he's allegedly the main character, or he was. So you give him 5 minutes or 30 seconds per episode, just kind of has nothing to do with the plot.
So who's the main character now? Negan?
No, they've been doing this is part of what sucks about Walking Dead in recent years.
The character episodes?
The character episodes, but it's always the characters you don't really want to hold.
Like Carol?
No, I would love for a Carol episode at this point. We got a 90-minute episode of Tara last week.
Oh,
I don't even know who that is.
Lord.
Yeah.
I know.
So there was that.
She's not that interesting of a character.
No.
Pretty disposable, in my opinion. Nothing personal against the
actress.
actress.
I had forgotten that her character had been gone for apparently 9 episodes.
Huh.
I had no idea.
And they brought her back with a 90-minute special.
A 90-minute.
She was the one that went lesbian with the nurse.
Yeah. Here's the thing though about these.
I didn't make it that far. I have no idea.
That's right.
Here's the thing about these 90-minute episodes of Walking Dead is, especially this season, there's 90 minutes and it's supposed to be very tense and whatever, but nothing fucking happens. So you're just well, that was really
that's
unnecessary.
Season 4 in a nutshell.
What you're saying is Walking Dead is being The Walking Dead?
No. Again, I just watched the first 3 seasons. It wasn't that way at one point in time.
It really wasn't.
Literally, I thought the first season, the way you described, I had assumed that it would take Rick a while to get with the group and to find
his first episode,
and you're oh shit, he's immediately with everybody.
Is that season 4 then that has that really shitty episode that's just about the governor?
Yeah.
Oh god,
season 4 is basically nothing but character episodes.
It's
for the most part.
But that and 5.
Bad.
5.
The first half of 5, I should say.
I was gonna say I really like 5 when they go to Alexandria. And stuff.
That's specific. That's where Rick bites the guy's throat out, right?
Yeah, I thought 5 was the best since 2. In my 3 is pretty good too. We'll say best since 3.
Well, I was cracking up though because you finally then in rewatching I finally got to Rick starting to go crazy. And Crazy Rick is unintentionally just the funniest shit I've ever seen. when he first meets Tyrese and all them, and all of a sudden he's he hears the voices again. He's oh no. He's no.
What season is that? 3?
Yeah, it's early 3, right after Lori dies. Spoilers if you haven't. Who gives a fuck?
She dies.
Yeah, fucking spoilers. Jesus Christ! If you haven't watched Walking Dead by this point, you're not going to, and that's okay. You're better off that way because, granted, season 1 is amazing. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, so to speak.
With the Kurt thing, too, though, it's I can't remember his name. Jeffrey D. Morgan. He's great. He's fantastic.
Is he out acting everyone?
He's just so likable. He's doing these. He does awful things, or he doesn't do anything, and you're just like the last episode, he ironed a guy's face.
Oh.
But he's just talking about the rules and shit, and you're like, well, it's just Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I like this guy.
But I think though the thing that cracks me up is like Carl always was like that guy was always a shitty actor. But you can forgive that a little bit when like it's like a 9-year-old or whatever.
But now that he's older,
But now that he's like a full-grown adult, you're like, you have no business acting opposite Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like the last episode was literally just that for the most part, and you're like,
that's not good.
So that's not all I watched, but I think I've taken up enough time. Let's move on.
Buck, anything interesting this week?
I watched Wolf of Wall Street.
Classic.
I did as well.
Yep, it's a good one. Real good one.
Margot Robbie.
I watched about 2/3 of Batman '89
And then had to shut it off.
to go to bed.
Let's talk about. I want to just briefly bring up something. So Bucky was getting some controversial tweets in over the weekend.
I was really stirring the pot.
He was talking about how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 is better than Secret of the Ooze, which I wholeheartedly disagree with you. And even Vanilla Ice went so far as to disagree with you.
Yeah, well, of course he would. Why wouldn't he?
Obviously, Justin, who's on...
It was like his last hoorah of his career.
Justin, who's also on Game
He
Chat.
fixes homes now.
Power to him.
Added Vanilla Ice, and he slapped a favorite on our tweet telling Bucky that he's wrong about Secret of the Ooze, which is just funny.
I mean, that scene in Secret of the Ooze is awesome. Like, I'm not denying that. Like,
Dude, Kevin Nash's Super Shredder?
I thought that was in 3.
No, that's the second one.
Are you sure?
I love,
Yes.
like, for a change, you guys are talking about a property that I have no nostalgia for whatsoever.
I don't either. I never gave a shit about
No,
it.
but I mean, I have even less than you, because you guys are talking, I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I remember watching the live action movies with like my cousin when I was a kid. That's like it. That's the only.
You only like the first movie better than the second one because that scene where Raphael screams "damn," and it's so edgy for a kids movie.
I just like it because I just think it's a
Casey
better
Jones.
movie. Casey Jones. I
Hey,
like.
Casey Jones is in the third one.
Yeah, I have all of them, but I haven't watched the third one yet.
Third one is really, really bad.
That's
Borderline unwatchable.
And I remember as a kid on Fox Kids, because that's all I used to watch as a kid was the Fox Kids network. And I remember The Next Mutation. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember I used to watch it. But
Right.
other than Batman '89, Wolf of Wall Street, I don't think I watched anything else of note. So I'm going to pass it on over to you, Nate. What have you been watching?
I only watched one thing this week, and that was finally checked out my Scream Factory release of Jeepers Creepers. Transfer, I don't think it's a new transfer. I think it's a transfer from the Blu-ray that was released a couple years ago. And I kind of wish they would have done a new transfer because it wasn't as good as I was hoping. It definitely, the movie is brighter than it used to be because I remember watching that movie on DVD and VHS and just thinking about how dark the whole fucking movie is, because if you guys don't remember, that movie is literally like fucking pitch black.
I've never seen it.
Oh, of course you haven't seen it.
Been a while.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers though. That was
I
kind
am
of
too.
a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a crossover movie. Like normies liked Jeepers
Yeah.
Creepers. Yeah.
I remember it being a big deal. I just never got around to watching it.
So that's all I watched today or this week. So let's jump in to the episode. We're talking about the Guyver 2 Dark Hero. The Price is Right music. I don't know.
I was gonna say that, bro, like,
That's not the
is
guy.
he trying to do the Guyver music? Because it just sounds like the Price is Right.
That's good.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we watched the Guyver 2 this morning, and now we're going to talk about it. Buck, you're the one who hasn't seen it. Give us a brief plot synopsis.
Two paragraphs or less.
So, Sean is
It's 1 year later.
It's 1 year later, and he's still trying. He's just trying to.
He's tortured.
He's
so tortured.
He's so tortured.
He is trying to deal with the fact that he's the Guyver, and he keeps getting these random messages in his dreams, and he's writing them down. And he's also grown into a very, very mysterious, cool guy.
Yes, and
that's very tortured.
Sean's actor has changed from whoever the fuck was in the first movie to David Hayter, who, if you guys don't know, is the voice of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and he also co-wrote the X-Men movies and co-wrote the screenplay for Watchmen. Kind of a big deal, but this is him in a leading role, and we can see why he was not acting in many other movies after this one. But
granted, he is a marked improvement over
marginal. Continue on.
He, him and Mitski,
yeah, she breaks up with him.
Yeah,
she can't take it anymore.
Can I comment on this real quick?
Yeah.
Just, I love.
She's also a different actress.
I was going to say I love the concept of it's a different actress, a better actress, I would say.
Yeah.
I think we agreed Mitski was very attractive for the 5 seconds she's in it.
Yeah.
But you have two completely different actors. Is a breakup scene really necessary in a straight-to-video sequel with different people playing characters?
I think they could have just left the Mitski thing alone, never touched on it ever again.
Bond doesn't have a breakup scene in every movie. Yeah. Austin Powers doesn't even bother with it.
Or he could have briefly mentioned it or something.
Could have been like, I was seeing someone.
Yeah.
She's gone. She couldn't.
Because she's the one that got away. Epic guitar solo in the key of E major.
I was seeing someone, but now I'm not. Now I'm just tortured.
Yeah. It was a running theme while we were watching the movie that David Hayter, like, they were just telling him, okay, in this scene you're tortured, you're haunted by the Guyver, and like, because every scene he's just like making a face like he's in pain, or like when someone asks him like why he's so secretive, he's just like, you wouldn't understand. I can't tell you.
I just gotta shut everyone out.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that one character from the Amanda show, from the mini show that was in the show,
Moody's Point.
Remember the guy that like would paint his locker black? Yeah. Like, and he would just say those one-liners and like give that look and just walk away. The mysterious guy. That's who Sean was.
So continue on.
So he links up with this archaeologist who's reluctant to link up with them first.
Who's grabbing groceries for the archaeological dig where there's about, probably, I don't know, 20 people.
Huge crew.
And so she gets a case of beer and a bag of groceries.
Yep. And
really gonna feed everyone there.
I didn't mention that he hitchhiked from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City, or right outside Salt Lake City, pretty damn
like some
quick.
kind of punk.
Yeah.
Also, hold on. The one thing, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this, like, why does Sean have dog tags in the whole movie?
It's probably in his contract.
Why is he wearing dog tags? Have you ever thought about that?
No.
And we, you know what? We completely skipped over the greatest intro to any movie ever. Connor's probably the best scene in the movie, just because it's so fucking ridiculous. Our introduction to the Guyver. With the drug dealers at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, watches Scarface Once guy.
Yeah, you've got the movie. The movie opens up with just the most generic gangster. Like, he's wearing a suit jacket with no shirt on.
He's dressed
underneath.
up like Razor Ramon.
Yeah, and basically. He acts like Razor Ramon. Yeah. And so these drug dealers, they have a scheme, and that is, they can somehow fuse cocaine into plastic and mold it into whatever they want. So they choose, Barbie dolls, and then he makes the claim of, you melt it back down, it's in its purest form.
Yeah, it's 100% pure. You're like, that makes no fucking sense.
What about the plastic?
But me and Nate and I were watching it like the first time he showed me this movie, and I was like, and Nate was like, maybe you hadn't like noticed it before. It'd been a while and you forgot, and you were like, Connor, does that make any sense? Like, no. No, it doesn't.
It would melt down into the plastic of the doll and the clothing that she's wearing and the fake hair that's on the doll,
It would be
too.
infinitely not, Peter.
They'd get cracked to someone and they'd go to smoke it and they'd be like, why does this taste like plastic? But
And then they would die.
But anyway, and yeah, also Guyver 2 made the jump from PG-13 to rated R, and there's just blood galore. Right from the get-go, there's just kind of blood everywhere.
Straight up stabs a guy with the fucking...
With the elbow blades. Yeah, slices his throat. And although there's a funny scene too right at the beginning where the one security guard kind of breaks free and he's getting shot and it's in slow motion. It's really dramatic, like you're supposed to give a shit about some fucking security guard that you met 30 seconds ago. And the scene is like a minute long of him getting shot and then being like and falling to the ground, and you're like, am I missing something? Was there like a middle like prequel movie I missed out on about this guy where I'm supposed to care?
He actually spun in from a different franchise.
The Useless Security Guard franchise.
Yes.
Volume 7. But anyways, Buck, so you were saying they go to the archaeological dig.
Yeah, and
There's
one of the my favorite occurrences happens when they first get there, and he joins the team, and she's like, "Hey, Bob, show him the ropes." It's just like, he's just gonna get an archaeological degree real quick. He's gonna become a scientist.
Dude, he straight up fucking starts helping him later.
Yeah.
Like, they just let this random asshole start helping them excavate the ship.
I know you're a student intern. You've been working for this for
Same thing
4+ years.
The security guards.
Yeah.
The security guards are helping dig out the ship. Like, everyone just does double time there. You're like, well, I'm security from 2 to 6, and then 6 to 10 I'm working the dig.
I'm not a paleontologist. I'm not a scientist, but I like to help out.
I briefly entertained the thought of being an architecture major in college. That's kind of the same.
Is it?
They sound similar, right?
Both start with an A.
What's funny is that also, too, when everyone's digging up, it is the fakest fucking scene of people acting like they're shoveling and hitting things. Like, there's one part where everyone's standing in a line and they're all shoveling, but they're shoveling their stuff to the right. And the people are all to the right of them. So are you shoveling your dirt onto the other people's pile, and they're just like shoveling it down?
That's something that would like if we made a movie and there was any sort of dig, or that's what it would be like. Like nothing would make sense in that regard.
And every character too, while they're digging in this particular scene, is like shoulder to shoulder. So there's not a whole lot of room for them to be like, saying like they're putting the dirt elsewhere. They literally have enough space to put the dirt right in front of the person next to them.
It's like that's like a form of punishment. Like you won't make any progress as soon as you dig it out. It's actually like a prison sentence. Like
it's a metaphor for purgatory.
It's like you can get out as soon as you've dug a 6-foot hole.
But the guy next to you just keeps filling the hole. Yeah, so that's really funny. But continue on, Buck.
So some things come to light.
There's werewolf attacks.
There's werewolf
That crazy hillbilly guy. My dumb brother got killed by a daggum werewolf.
It was Merle.
I like the guy though, like the interviewer. Like, there's no question, but he's like, no, I wasn't drunk.
Yeah, yeah, no, I wasn't. So it turns out
that's me.
the dig is being funded by the Kronos Corp. Plot twist.
Who saw that coming?
So basically, it's self-explanatory from there on out.
Yes, the whole plot to the rest of Guyver 2 is zoonoids trying to get alien spaceship Guyver stop them.
Yep.
Well, you're leaving out one very epic detail.
Oh yeah? Let's hear it.
Zoonoid with a Guyver suit.
Yes, of course. That is honestly a hype moment when the security officer, the guy that's working for the government, is like, Sean! And then he has the briefcase that has the damaged Guyver unit in it. And he opens it and it's empty. And then the head zoonoid is like, and turns into a Guyver zoonoid, which is awesome. Because they eventually get inside of the alien spaceship because the fucking guy says open sesame and it opens the fucking door. That's a real thing that happened in a movie.
Again, that's like if we had a password to get into our secret base, we'd be like, fuck.
He doesn't say open sesame. He says open sesame.
Open sesame. Because he's like trying to rhyme with what he said previously. I don't remember what. But yeah, they find a damaged Guyver unit on the ship as well. And obviously the really obviously evil henchmen are obviously very evil, and they're trying to take the Guyver unit to presumably the new head of the Kronos Corporation, who looks literally like the guy from the first movie's stunt double. They're just
what if it really was?
They're just like, okay, old white guy in an office.
Kind of rapey.
Kind of a little creepy. But yeah, so Buck, this was your first time seeing this movie, and if you guys tuned into last time, or if you didn't, and this is your first episode, we did watch the Guyver 1 already. We did a full review about it. Buck didn't like it. Buck, what did you think this time of Guyver 2? Better than the first?
Oh, yeah. Light years.
It's almost instantly better than the first.
Instantly. Because the choreography is good.
It's not just a weird dance routine.
Yeah.
That goes on for
actually has like legitimately cool visuals, like when the Guyver jumps out of the water and he's in that awesome pose and he comes down and he slashes the one zoonoid and he cuts his head off, but he like slashes and he's paused right there, and then you see the head slowly fall. Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool.
Straight out of the anime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is 1,000 times better.
It's still not very good. I think we should let everyone know that it's still not. It's still cheesy and fucking corny, and it's rated R Power Rangers.
Or are we still running with Beetleborgs? Which is the more accurate?
I think Power Rangers was more Well, I don't know. They're so similar. That,
like it doesn't really.
What about VR Troopers? No.
Hey, you leave VR Troopers out of this.
When I saw that it actually does in fact have nostalgia goggles for some things, and you're like, dude, this sucks.
I wish more than anything that I would have seen the Guyver 2 as a kid. With my friends, because I would love it to this day.
See, and that's also unfortunate, is because I didn't see Guyver 2 when I was a kid. I had no idea there was a Guyver sequel until I was like in high school. And I was like, holy shit. And then I managed to track down the DVD for a reasonable price because it's fucking expensive. And that sucks. The DVD goes for like $40. And paying $40 for a not-so-good movie would really chap my ass. Especially because the DVD has no bonus features or anything.
And the quality is just horrid.
Oh, the transfer for the DVD is fucking abysmal.
That's definitely the worst part about the movie.
Any faraway shot in the Guyver 2 is fucking blurry.
100% blurry, and it hurts to look at.
The characters, you can't make out their faces or anything. It's all fucking blurry. It's so ridiculous.
So grainy and a ton of artifacts.
Yes. I would definitely hope that, maybe since Arrow Video is releasing the first Guyver movie on Blu-ray, that maybe if it sells well or something, they can do one for the second movie. Because I think that the sequel truly needs it.
Oh, yeah. It's deserving.
Yes. But, so, speaking of completely ridiculous things, what about the scene when they're fighting in the water? All right? This is, the zoonoids are fighting in the water. You also find out that the main love interest, Corey, her dad is a zoonoid, and they're all fighting in the water, and the Guyver shows up, and he uses his mystical abilities of completely hiding himself in knee-deep water from the... like, he disappears underneath the water, and the zoonoids are, like, splashing the water around. They're looking for him. They're like, where'd he go? And it's like, the water's fucking knee-deep. Like, where... You don't see a big fucking blue thing underneath the...
And they do a camera shot that's overhead looking down at the water, and it's crystal clear water.
Yeah, that too. It's not like it's murky brown water. It's, like, clear water. So it's pretty fucking silly. And also...
It was like the shallow end of a fucking wave pool.
Yeah. And it's such an awesome scene when Sean jumps off the cliff and like transforms into the Guyver on mid-cliff, but the CG is so fucking bad. It looks like they had David Hayter stand in like a T, like a
Yeah.
lowercase T pose, and then he just stood there, and they were like, okay, let's animate that, and they just like had it, and they just made him go like, whoa, and jump right into the like it's a still image
Gotcha.
with the Guyver suit coming around him, and it looks really shitty. The CG in this movie is not good, but I
There's
mean,
not a lot of it, but
yeah, it definitely, obviously, the shining fact of both of the Guyver movies is that the creature effects are awesome. Except for in Guyver 2, there's reused costumes. They reused the bald guy from Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
They reused his costume. And then later in the movie, when it's explaining to you about how when the aliens created the Guyver units and stuff, and it shows the cavemen,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's headpiece is one of the monsters in that scene. Like the bug with the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, they're just straight up fucking reusing Mark Hamill's face. Like his likeness. That's like that middle stage. You know?
Yeah.
and another complaint, I feel like it's a little too long.
Well, we watched the director's cut. So there's two cuts of this movie. There's the theatrical cut, which is about 90 minutes, and then the theatrical cut is like 125 minutes.
There's a theatrical cut, even though it's straight to video.
Well, I would assume there must be some sort of... Well, I guess it's not a technical theatrical cut, but...
I get you.
Yeah, but I would assume at some point, because I don't know, because the only DVD you can get, I think, is the one that's 125 minutes long. So it's a little over 2 hours this time, but honestly, it feels like the same amount of time as the first movie. And the first movie is only 90 minutes,
Yeah.
which is like, holy shit, just how poorly paced the first movie is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I was saying, the creature designs are all awesome. I really like the suit in this movie. It's different. It's slightly different. It's a little bit more blue. It's a little bit more slender. We actually get the chest cannons in this movie, which is awesome. Even though you can tell that it's like they had like a special effects piece that they filmed close up that they could open.
Yeah.
Because like when it shows Sean closing it on his suit, he's just wearing the rubber suit and he kind of just like moves his hands together.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know that was a separate effect right there. I see that. But Connor, obviously, we love the Guyver 2. We think it's a fantastic movie.
Even, sans Mark Hamill,
Yeah. The first movie had star power, and then they went
Though I feel like we recognize Mark Hamill. I think to a lot of people he's unrecognizable in that role.
Well, yeah, especially because he has a mustache and like he doesn't look like Luke Skywalker at all. But I mean, they had Jeffrey Combs. They had all the half the cast of Reanimator. That bald guy from
Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes. The guy from Good Times.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, that guy's in the movie. So it seems like they traded in the star power for at least a watchable movie.
That's basically... Because what cracks me up with the star power they have, though, outside of Mark Hamill, they got all those people to pretty much just do the things that they're known for.
Right.
With the exception of they have the guy from Hills Have Eyes, talk a lot in the first movie.
Right.
Which is not really his...
Forte?
I mean, not talking in general, but you know what I mean, as an actor.
Right.
Yeah, the lack of star power did make a better movie.
Yeah. It's definitely a better movie. And it should be said that I was trying to gather some factoids for this episode, but there's fucking nothing. There's just no information about this movie. At least as much... The only tidbit I could find was that at one point David Hayter pitched the Guyver 3 to Steve Wang, who was the director of this movie. Also, co-directed the first movie. But the rights had reverted back to whoever owns it in Japan.
So we could have had Guyver Extremely Dark Hero.
We could have had Guyver 3 Return of Giuseppe.
That was the plot?
No, that was not the plot. They don't really, but like the good thing is like the ending is pretty conclusive.
Yeah.
Like the main military dude is like, why don't you come work for the government? I'm running an underground war against the Kronos Corporation. And then we had a running joke throughout the movie. David Hayter turns to him and he's just like, nah, bruh, I'm going with Corey. Because every time in the movie, like, the government agent is like, help me do something, Sean. And every time Sean's just like, nah, I'm going to go hang out with Corey.
Well, in fairness, I'd rather hang out with Corey.
Ooh, yes. Woo!
Yeah.
Corey.
It's funny because the first time you showed me that movie, I was like, "Man, Miski's hot in this movie." Well bye-bye, Miski. And then you meet Corey, you're like, "So tell me more about Corey."
I know, and it's like, and Corey has like two looks too. She's got like the nerdy like glasses on, hair up look, and then later in the movie, she's just like hair down, no glasses, and she looks like a fucking supermodel or something.
That's the classic movie of the chick that wears glasses. She takes off the glasses and puts her hair down, and she's just insanely hot.
I like the glasses look better.
I'm all about the glasses look.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down
either
too.
way.
But like, it's like they do that for like the comparison, so then she looks even hotter. You know. But Buck, did you have a favorite scene, favorite quote from the Guyver 2 here?
I think my favorite quote is when he said, "out of control," because like that's just goes straight back to the anime. So that was a cool moment when he like has that epiphany. He's like something. It's I can't remember.
Right, because the Zoonoid, the main bad guy, is using a damaged Guyver unit, which is his ultimate downfall. And you can see, and he lets you know that it's a damaged unit by doing really obvious, stupidly fake twitches.
Yeah.
Like he's in the suit and he's going like. And it is funny too because at the end of this movie, the Guyver doesn't even beat the Zoonoid, the main bad guy. It's fucking Corey. She shoots him in the head, and that's what beats him. Like he's about to straight up kill every single movie. The Guyver just gets bested.
Yeah. That just reminds me of like the how like at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, how like at first Batman's gonna best Bane, but then he gets his shit rocked because he gets stabbed and whatever. And even though the whole thesis that it's no guns, no killing type of thing, and then Catwoman comes and saves the day by shooting Bane, and it's kind of the thing that you just described. Just we have a superhero, but nothing.
And then
ancient weapons and hokey religions are no match for a good blaster by your side.
It goes to show you that if aliens ever invaded the United States, all we'd need would be to shoot them in the head with our pistols.
I found the weakness. Without their heads, they're powerless.
Which it's funny too. It should be mentioned that so Zoonoids normally are like bulletproof. It's established in this movie that guns don't work on them, but for some reason, when you're a Zoonoid and you have a Guyver suit,
and you have a girl with a great aim,
with impeccable accuracy, because the Guyver device in the forehead is like, probably the size of a $50, and she shoots him from like 20 feet away, square,
first try,
and that's it. Like, why isn't that thing bulletproof? Were the aliens just like, whoops?
It's like the equivalent of like the soft spot on a child, on like a baby.
Yeah.
Or self-destruct button.
Or like, they get a little History Channel on you guys, like in Swamp People, how they're always like, the alligators have a kill spot the size of a quarter on the back of their neck. But that was my frame of reference was Swamp People. Meanwhile,
I'm glad
I just try to like my fear of holding a baby, because I'm like, dude, can you just imagine the awkwardness of, oh shit.
Meanwhile,
I just dropped your baby
on Bayou Sorrel. RJ and J. Paul are out.
Jesus.
Connor, do you have a favorite scene, favorite moment?
Oh, I mean, well, it's just got to be the reveal of the Zoonoid has a Guyver unit, because. I don't know. It's epic. That's like,
it is honestly epic.
I think they tried. I think they do that in the anime.
Well, I love it in the anime. There are multiple Guyver units, and there's there's like I think there's literally an episode called "The Battle of the Guyvers" or something similar to that. And it's like,
I was really pulling for it. Like I want to I know, and it probably never happened in a million years, but another live action Guyver where they can do, right by it, because you can do something really cool with it. It's great. It's a great story. Great set pieces, good things to work with. But I was same with the first movie. I was hoping Miski was gonna get a Guyver unit, or like some.
Now you wanted Corey to do it, or
you wanted
Miski to make a mysterious.
I I wanted.
Well, it seemed like it honestly does like start to kind of like set it up like Corey's gonna get the Guyver unit.
Yeah, and save her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then double team the main villain with Sean, and I think that would have been fucking amazing. That's how I would write a Guyver movie.
which it should be said that it's funny that they reuse costumes from the first movie, but and me and Buck were probably saying, well, you know, they had to make a new Guyver suit. They had to make the prehistoric Guyver suit that you see in the flashback, and they also had to make the Zoanoid Guyver suit. They're like, too many suits, guys. Listen, we don't have the money. Go to the closet, get those other costumes out, because we're gonna see what we can do with them. I just want to
steal a Xenobite costume from the Hellraiser closet.
I would like to imagine that somewhere there's just a closet that just says the Guyver on it, and it just has all the costumes in it. That would be awesome.
I've just got to briefly touch on that. You know, sometimes, especially we used to be very guilty of constantly making like cosplay plans or whatever. That there was no way in hell we would ever whatever. But we used to talk. We talked for weeks extensively about like. Basing off the anime, we were like, dude, we should do Guyver shit. Like, you wanted to do the white, or, you know, I just do the normal one. You were like, dude, yeah, and I'll do the the white.
There's a guy on Instagram, and I can't think of his name right now, but he does cosplays, and he does Guyver costumes, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he does like Guyver, Spawn, like. He's like one of us if we could do that kind of stuff. If we were
actually like capable of like like I see it in my head, but there's no.
Like I could do it if my hands just worked.
If I was creative, if I had any talent or drive.
If I didn't just sit on a microphone and talk about stupid movies on the internet.
If I didn't suffer from clinical depression and anxiety.
If I didn't masturbate until my right hand was effectively useless.
If I had road rash on my penis.
Anywho.
Yeah, so my favorite scene in Guyver 2 Dark Hero is the introduction to the Guyver. I like all of the stupid gangsters who are shooting him, and I like the part where they shoot him and he blocks it with his hand and sends it back at the one guy and fucking kills him. Like, that's so awesome. He's such a badass in the opening of this movie, and then just like
I was gonna say that was always kind of my gripe was that he
kicks so much ass at the beginning, and then like later on he's just like whatever.
Like the movie almost could have used more of just him. Like
also, how disgusting is the effect of the back of his neck pulsing in this movie? You're just like.
I mean, it was pretty gross in the first movie, right? But yeah, I agree.
And there's one part where there's people standing behind him and they're in the cave and his neck is pulsing and I'm like, is no one behind him like being like, ew,
holy fuck.
So,
what, they don't like falafel?
You know, one thing me and Buck started talking about after the movie was the large potential for Guyver crossovers. We're thinking Guyver gets a symbiote. Venom mixed with the Guyver. Predator mixed with the Guyver. Terminator mixed with the Guyver.
Basically every Arnold Schwarzenegger property mixed with the Guyver.
Alien versus Predator, where aliens also have Guyver units.
Call of Cthulhu mixed with the Guyver.
Batman with a Guyver unit.
Dude, it'll be like when Batman was Green Lantern. Awesome.
Or like Azrael Batman.
Yes.
The design.
The Xenomorph experiment. The Guyver.
Pinhead gets a Guyver unit.
Imagine that. Do I look like someone who cares what God...
Do I look like someone who cares what the Kronos Corporation thinks?
Yes. Dude, the Kronos Corporation just brought me into fucking the Guyver Resident Evil.
Dude. Instead of the Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah.
And instead of zombies, it's all Guyvers.
Holy shit.
You listening, Hollywood? Huh?
I would love for a third Guyver movie, or at least some sort of, like, it's too late at this point, I feel like, to do something a little bit strange. Like, maybe when Kick-Ass was really popular and there was a bunch of weird, more like weirder comic book movies being made.
Or maybe if Spawn ever comes out.
Yeah, or if Spawn ever came out and for some impossible odd that it was actually great and everyone loved it, then maybe we could see another Guyver movie, but I mean, it's like a superhero movie. Like you could definitely pull something off with it, but I obviously have, there's no plans. There's
Also,
nothing.
But also, like we've talked about, like the fatigue is already there,
Right.
with that. So like, yeah,
It's
dead in the water.
It's like I want to see a modern version of the Guyver handled right, but but you'll never get that, and that sucks. It really does suck that we just have to live our lives with these two subpar movies. Well, one is straight up bad, and then the other one is decent.
Plus, we've got our fan fiction.
Plus, coming soon from Dark Horse Comics, Guyver versus the Predator, on store shelves this January. So, final wrap up, final score, final thought. Buck, what would you recommend the Guyver to our listeners?
Yeah, I would recommend it, but it's certainly not for everyone. If you like the Power Rangers movies, if you like Tremors,
Dude, Tremors crossover.
The Tremors get the Guyver units.
no,
We just keep recycling the same idea, but bringing in
and
a
then,
different.
or Bert gets a Guyver unit.
Bert or Kevin Bacon gets the Guyver unit.
Freddy versus Jason versus Guyver.
Freddy versus Jason versus Ash versus the Guyver.
Ash versus evil Guyver.
Ash gets a Guyver unit.
With a chainsaw.
All right.
It works with
Dragon Ball
everything.
Guyver.
Goku gets a Guyver. It literally works for any property you could ever want it to work.
The Beatles.
I would like
Guyver.
I would like to see the Z Fighters fight a Guyver or two.
Marley and Me. The puppy gets the Guyver unit.
Wow. That puppy's got bio-boosted armor.
Beauty and the motherfucking Guyver.
This isn't gonna work out.
Jurassic Guyver.
And for me, what's the
Indominus Rex.
Indominus Rex gets a Guyver.
Has the Guyver unit.
No, that's how the T-Rex defeats the.
That's
Vincent D'Onofrio gets the Guyver.
That's how Chris Pratt gets the Guyver unit and defeats all of the dinosaurs himself.
Dude, that'd be sick. You listening, Hollywood?
My mind
Fuck!
My mind is getting blown right now, guys.
Okay, final thoughts.
Let's reel it in.
Reeling it in.
Final thought.
Calm
Buck.
down.
Night at the museum with the Guyver. Ben Stiller gets a Guyver.
Ben Stiller is the Guyver.
But he doesn't do anything with it because like
He's just hanging out.
he's just like sitting there at the desk. He's just like typing, dressed, but he's in the Guyver costume and he's like.
Fuck. I'd recommend it if you like Beetleborgs. I liked it. I did. But I feel like it was too long. I'd like to see the cut down version and just see how that flows.
Yeah.
But would recommend, and I really would like a restored 4K Blu-ray release.
a new 2K scan.
Yeah.
Connor, final thoughts. Would you recommend?
Gremlins with the Guyver.
You just look.
Now you're just looking at shit on the
Connor's
shelf.
just looking at
Like,
all
what really works?
Power Rangers versus the Guyver.
Dude, Pinocchio gets a guy.
With the motherfucking Guyver.
He teaches Geppetto a fucking lesson.
Iron Man versus the Guyver.
That's pretty good.
No,
That's
Tony Stark.
incredible.
Tony Stark gets the Guyver unit, but he wears it over his Iron Man costume. He's double protected.
They like go to unmask Iron Man. And he's got a fucking Guyver, you know.
Hey guys. But
Anywho, sorry.
final thoughts. Would you recommend?
I already
Can I-
said
can I-
I would.
can I-
I'm talking to Connor.
Can I do? Can
Fuck
I do,
you.
Can I just get my two last ones out?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Family Guyver.
You think that's bad?
No. Okay. Last one.
Okay.
Nah, this is the last one. Make it good. Make it count. Think about it.
Django Guyver.
No.
Django Fett or Django as in
Unchained.
Unchained?
Nope.
I'm
You
down.
lost it.
I'm down.
I'm done.
No.
Okay.
I'm out.
Would you
Anywho.
recommend?
Shark Tank. I'm out.
I would recommend it, but I mean, you've got to be down for some cheesy ass shit.
And it's also, we didn't experience it this way, but I would highly recommend doing just a straight double feature.
Yeah,
because your appreciation for the second movie only gets amplified the fresher the first movie is in your mind.
And then as soon as you watch the anime that's came out in the 2000s, I can't really speak on the 80s and 90s stuff because I haven't seen it. It'll give you a ton of appreciation for that anime.
Yes.
Wow.
And okay, yeah, and of course, I obviously would recommend it. You guys know I love the Guyver. Always have, always will. I love spreading the knowledge. Let's hear it. I see your face.
Pacific Rim with Guyver.
Not only are you in a dude,
you're in the Guyver.
No,
yes.
A super-sized
Of course, then.
Guyver.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. That was episode 74 of the Out of the Basement podcast. We've been talking about Guyver 2, The Dark Hero. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed what we're doing. Let us know your thoughts on Guyver 2 in the comments down below. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. It's Out of the Basement. It's all one word.
2020, John Boyega is the Guyver.
I would also be down for that.
Right?
Yep, 100%.
But what if we do Ryan Reynolds all CG Guyver costume
With quippy jokes.
With Guyver.
But yeah, make sure you check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. We've got some figure reviews going up soon. I'm gonna get back into that. I just gotta start finding figs. It's been dry lately, man. I found 2 figures in the past probably like 4 months that I've been really looking for. So hopefully we'll get reviews up of those. Yada yada yada. Facebook, Twitter. It's all Out of the Basement. We'll see you next time.